Hey guys. All right. So for today, for grammar, we're going to use some of those sentences that you've been creating over the last 2 days. All right. So I'm going to move my screen over here real quick. So if you look at the chart here down below, you notice that over the last 2 days, these are the sentences that you've been working with. Okay. It depends on which ones you obviously have done in a specific way, but you should have by this point done 1 through 12 and then 13 through 24 as Mondays and Tuesdays assignments. Okay, and you might recognize these now by looking at them all together. But what we're going to do is we're going to do today the final step that goes with them, and it involves pictures that go with your sentences. Okay, so up here, I have already crossed out step one because you have already done that. So over the last 2 days, you created sentences using the pronoun and the noun from each box. So like I and house, all the way to she and floor. So that's been the last 2 days of the sentences that you've created. So you've already done that step. Step two now says draw a picture depicting 8 of your sentences. Okay, and you're going to see here in a second when I show you guys the examples, you don't necessarily have to draw. You can also do kind of a digital version, but I'm going to show you that here in a second. But the point is that you have to pick 8 of these sentences to work with. Okay, so between 1 through 24, you need to choose any 8 of them, any 8. It doesn't have to be 1 through 8. Okay, so any 8, you could pick 1, 10, 14, 24, 12, any of them work, okay? So first of all, if you're not really confident if your sentence was correct or not, if you had a hard time with one of them, okay, so I know a lot of people said they had trouble with maybe number 2 or things like 14, like us and money and yours and watch, things like those, then you don't necessarily have to pick those to work with, okay? But any 8 you get to choose. Now, here's what the second part is it says rewrite if you're going to do this on paper, or type if you're going to do this digitally, the sentence with the picture. Okay. So I'm telling you all right now, you have some options. Okay. You can choose any 8 of these and you can literally draw them on a piece of paper and then write the sentence with that picture for any 8. Or you can create something more like a Google slide presentation where every slide has the sentence and some picture that just goes with the sentence. Okay. So let me show you the two examples that I put together here. Okay. So go ahead here. Here we go. Let me get myself out of the way again. I have the drawn example and I have the typed example. So if you are a person that knows that they're going to just draw the picture on paper and that's the easiest thing for you right now, that works. But as you can see from my amazing artwork here, that is what I'm shooting for when you do the drawn version of this. Okay, so you pick any 8. But if you see what I did here, I picked number 21 combination, and that was hers and phone. So I just drew a picture and I wrote the sentence because remember, you have to have the sentence to go with it. So I wrote the sentence, we asked Sally if the phone was hers. All right, I got my 2 words in there from the box. And you can tell from my amazing drawing that I have these 2 twins over here saying, hey, Sally, is this your phone? And they're just asking Sally if that's her phone. Okay, so when you're going to draw these, that's kind of the base right there. So you can't just draw, a picture of a phone and say, we asked Sally if the phone was hers, right? It actually has to look like something that's going on with the sentence. Okay, doesn't have to be in color if you're going to be drawing, it doesn't have to be super detailed unless you want it to be. But if you're doing the drawing example, then that's your kind of base model right there. If you're more into the typed example, here's what I have down here. I have an example of, let's just say, one slide from a PowerPoint presentation or a Google slide presentation, okay? And most of you guys are obviously well versed in making a Google slide presentation. So you would just go in, make 8 slides, and they would all look something similar to this. So for this example slide down here, I use sentence number 8. And I said, Tom told the man that England was his favorite country to visit. So I've got England in there and I've got his in there from the previous box. And then I just put a flag that goes with England. Okay. So pretty simple on that as well, right? But in both cases, if you guys notice, I've included the original sentence and I've included an image or kind of cartoon scene to explain what's going on. Okay, now, the easiest thing to do, first of all, is to go back and pick your 8 sentences. If you want to do them one by one, that's fine. I know some of you guys have them on paper already, so you can just go back to that paper and then pick the 8 you want to use, and then, obviously use them however you want to use them for the picture. And then you also have them, some of you guys have them digitally where you have them in one Google Doc or 2 Google Docs. That's fine too. Okay. But you have the whole grid here that you can choose from. Okay. So clearly, once you all are done, if you're doing it on paper, just shoot me a picture of that. If you're doing it digitally, just share with me your Google Doc or Google presentation with the pictures and the sentences on it. Okay. So once again, if you're looking at this, you don't have to rewrite the sentences. You don't have to do new sentences from the other day. You just want to use the same sentences. Okay, you clearly have to rewrite them for the purpose of getting the points for the assignment. But I'm not saying go back and think of a totally new sentence for these. Just use the ones that you've had already created. All right. So good luck. As always, I hope you all are staying safe and being well out there. And if you have any questions on how to do some of these, or if you're running into any trouble, feel free to contact me, which obviously some of y'all have if you had any questions. So it's working out pretty well. All right. See you very soon.